Let's go live to my colleague, Joe Arena, who is trying to get more information from the scene.
Victoria,
Joe, yes.
Victoria, I hate to cut in right now. We definitely have some information really quick, though. We do have to refer to the sheriff's helicopter that's flying very low right now. Yes, we are. We are ready to go here, Vic. Ready when you are, sir.
All right, everyone, we are here to give you an update on the ECMC situation.
And we're following breaking news right now of an explosion in Niagara County. News 4's Brittany Smallwood just got to the scene. Brittany, what can you tell us right now?
Fire control to Rice Corners, you've been upgraded to hot. Miller Hose, your ambulance and ALS requested at scene of a house explosion with people trapped 4972 Chestnut Road, be just west of Beebe.
The day dawned with that horrifying radio dispatch for first responders.
The blast that destroyed a Wilson home was heard and felt across Niagara County. Now, this is what the Johnson family home looked like before and after the explosion that killed a 14-year-old daughter and injured her parents, a brother and a sister.
Our team coverage of this deadly explosion includes George Rickert live from the scene explaining exactly what happened. Lou Ragoose is learning more about the victims, and Rich Newberg has coverage of the extraordinary community response.
And we begin tonight with George Rickert. He's live from the tragic scene on Chestnut Road in the Niagara County town of Wilson. George?
Well, Jackie, it is now 12 hours after the fire, and you see right behind me, those firefighters just had to return to the scene about 30 minutes ago for a rekindle. There was a hot spot that started up again in that fire. Behind them, you see the propane tank, the white NOCO Energy propane tank. This had something to do with propane, officials believe, and they're not sure exactly what, but you heard the undersheriff tell us live at 5:30 that the family smelled something in the house yesterday, and it's unclear what was done about it, if anything. All we know is that this house exploded just after 6 a.m.
The gorilla did get loose, but he has been contained. We have pictures that we shot just a few minutes ago. Now, Buffalo police are here in large numbers with firefighters standing by and a rural metro ambulance. The witness accounts that we have is that a Buffalo police sharpshooter has gone in, we believe, with a tranquilizer gun. About 11 o'clock this morning, just a whole lot of activity there in the primate house. Zoo officials did evacuate people from the immediate area, but not the entire zoo.
No one investigates like News 4.
Our underage News 4 intern Ashley and I traveled to Toronto after tips that minors are buying fake IDs. We quickly found these shops and went undercover, buying 2 fake IDs in less than an hour.
For almost a year now, we've been monitoring the safety of a Hamburg roundabout. Our investigation began last year when 54-year-old Kenneth Braun slammed his pickup truck into stone rocks at the roundabout at South Park and Big Tree. We took another look at the intersection today and discovered the boulders may not be the only safety concern. One man stalked and terrorized for fun. The victim has special needs. His family called News 4 desperate for help because they can't get the bullying to stop.
We're on the cat man hunt. There he is.
Meow, meow. I'm looking for cat food. Meow. I eat cats.
You like cats?
I am a cat man.
You are a cat man? What's your name?
I'm a cat man.
The city of Dunkirk is a city of torment for Mikey Gonzalez. He says he's bullied on a daily basis by everyone, ranging from kids to grown adults. We sent News 4's Lou Ragoose to Dunkirk to investigate, and he joins us now with his exclusive special report.
Diana, I started looking into this after one of Mikey's loved ones called News 4 crying because they've tried everything they can think of to get the bullying to stop. Not only has it continued, but now it's being publicly posted to YouTube. A warning, you might find the video you're about to see disturbing.
Tonight, we can report this investigation has led police to press criminal charges.
The News 4 special report on adults in Dunkirk bullying 37-year-old disabled man Mikey Gonzalez resonated in the community, including with Dunkirk Police Chief Dave Ortolano.
Quite frankly, made me sick to my stomach.
He says his department won't tolerate what the videos posted online show. Men following Mikey around Dunkirk, provoking him until Mikey starts hitting himself, a symptom of his Tourette's. Ortolano says they're treating the case as stalking or harassment. He's meeting with the district attorney, who will consider charges.
One thing a lot of people told me from Dunkirk after the story aired, that police had to know that this was going on.
We have had issues with Miguel in the past where we would get calls from passing motorists that would say that they saw someone hitting themselves, and we would send a car. And I can tell you this: every time we didn't receive one of these calls. Our officers always made sure that they located him and make sure he was safe and make sure he found his way home.
But Ortolano says his department received no reports of people bullying Mikey until we showed him the video. The family claims they have been complaining to police, but they got no action.
The police need to step up. Actually, when they get a call about Mikey, they need to actually follow up on reports.
The police chief says he hopes charging the suspects will send a message.
I think we need to send that message. Special needs people, when they're in our communities, I think we have to do everything we can to protect them.
Now, 18-year-old Ryan Hudson and 19-year-old Matt Colon are both charged with stalking in the 4th degree. It's a misdemeanor that could land them up to 90 days in jail and 1 year probation. They'll be in court November 12th, and we'll keep you updated. Reporting live, Lou Raguse, News 4 at 6.
No one investigates like News 4. The owner of Roxy's Bar in Buffalo has pleaded guilty to charges, including grand larceny. Senior correspondent Rich Newberg has done a series of investigative reports on Julia Greenwood. New at 6, we're hearing from a former patron of Roxy's who first brought her complaints to News 4.
Julia Greenwood has pleaded guilty to grand larceny and petty larceny and could face a maximum of 4 years in prison when sentenced in March. Our investigation began when former Roxy's patron Sarah Gotti told me Greenwood had used her credit card for personal purchases after Sarah inadvertently left her card at the bar and went home. Greenwood pleaded guilty to making $818 of charges on Sarah's card.
I knew she was doing the wrong thing, and I have a moral compass, and I wanted to stop her, so it was the right thing to do.
After Sarah Gotti came to News 4, others with similar complaints came forward, some with documentation.
Super microcast depicting here some really soaking rains to start the day on Friday. At the end of the day, it becomes showery and lighter, and that's the kind of pattern we're going to have on Saturday.
Water levels here at Lake Ontario have been dropping since the beginning of the year. It has many residents thinking it helped Hurricane Sandy pass over without causing much damage.
They are so excited. They have been waiting for this. They could hardly see him until just a few minutes ago. Here he goes.
Unreal, unreal, unreal.
He's made it. He has conquered the mighty Niagara.
Good morning and welcome to Winging It Buffalo Style. It's Wednesday and I'm Amelia Siegel.
And I'm Emily Guggenmiss.
We have another back-to-school filled theme show going on. We have Renee from Weight Watchers, who's not only going to be making healthy food options, but also telling us how the kids can get involved in helping in the kitchen.
That's right. And Matt also has some tips on how to get a great haircut if you're heading back to school, as well as a lesson in science from the Science Museum.
Good evening and welcome to Curtain Up, celebrating 30 years of theater magic. Now, here's Jackie Walker, Don Postles, and special guest host Lisa Ledwig.
Good evening. I'm Jackie Walker.
And I'm Don Postles, and we are thrilled to be coming to you from the historic Lancaster Opera House.
This is a fantastic building. It looks almost as it did when it opened back in 1897. We're going to show you all around and learn more about the history of this theater in just a moment.
But first, we want to set the stage, so to speak, for this evening.
In the shadows when I come and see.
On this eve of Curtain Up, we'll be showing you scenes from performances opening around the region. Do you like drama? We have tear-jerkers. Comedy? We've got you covered. Plus, we have a good dose of dance with some fancy food thrown in just for fun.
Hi, I'm Don Paul.
And I'm Amelia Siegel, here with some friends asking you to give the gift of warmth for our community with Coats for Kids.
Good afternoon. If you are just joining us, we have details that have been pouring into our newsroom, and we have been reporting with you all morning long about a fatal shooting at Erie County Medical Center in Buffalo. We do have live team coverage this noon, and we begin with my colleague, News 4's Joe Arena. And Joe, what is the latest that you have?
Well, Victoria, Grider, the 1 mile stretch of Grider here in front of ECMC has now been back open to the public. All the police presence that was once here has now been left the scene. We are awaiting right now here a press conference that should begin at any moment with the mayor and the president of ECMC, Jody LeMayo. We're going to talk to Brittany Smallwood, who was actually at the first press conference this morning. What did they talk about their search? Because obviously their search seems to have moved.
So first this morning, Mike DeGeorge from the Buffalo Police Department, he said that there were a number of personnel on staff right now. They said the U.S. Marshals, Tonawanda Police, Amberg Police, Hamburg Police. They had a number of people out here trying to work on the investigation together. They said that the patients as well as the personnel at ECMC are safe. They said that they're doing just fine. They said in regards to their code, they put up the silver code, and they tried to make sure that everyone was okay. They said they didn't have a chance to run through it, but it was something that they said that they've at least written out the protocol, and everyone should know it and be able to go through it. There are about 400 patients on the inside. They're guesstimating about 1,000 people altogether who are inside, but they did say they're okay. They're able to get medical attention and going to Buffalo General.
Okay, thank you, Tiffany, for that. Or Brittany, excuse me. We do know, we want to kind of reiterate what happened this morning. A very shocking situation. A woman was shot in the head at about 8 o'clock this morning, shot and killed. A man of interest, a person of interest, is Dr. Timothy Jordan, 49 years old, Lakewood. He apparently is the main person of interest right now. There was some talk that he had been apprehended. That is not the case. We got confirmation of that just minutes ago, that he is still on the loose and police are actively searching for him. The hospital itself is no longer a part of the investigation, we believe, because all of the security has been lifted and all of the personnel from the hospital that was lining the sidewalk I'm standing on has now been allowed back into the building to treat the folks inside the patients, obviously. Vic? All right.
Hey, Joe, could you just reiterate that? So right now, that the only building is the David K. Miller building that is on lockdown?
I believe so. We haven't had confirmation of that, but right now, if we get a shot of what's happening right here, the mayor is coming into the to the picture we're about to show you. They're going to head over to us right now for a live press conference. We're going to keep it right here, right now. That is Mike DeGeorge on the mayor's right side, Buffalo police spokesperson, the Buffalo City spokesperson, actually. And we're just awaiting the mayor right now. Yes, we are. We are ready to go here, Vic. Ready when you are, sir.
All right, everyone, we are here to give you an update on the ECMC situation. First, let me just let everyone know that my prayers go out to those who have been affected by this situation. As you know, there has been one fatal shooting, a female victim. The shooting is not a random act. Let me also say earlier, all of the buildings and facilities at ECMC were on lockdown. That lockdown situation has been lifted. The hospital is now beginning to resume normal operations, with the exception of one building, the David K. Miller Medical Office Building, which is still closed at this time and will be closed until further notice. The Buffalo Police Department responded very quickly. We called in other partners in law enforcement very quickly. I want to thank all of the other law enforcement agencies that have worked on this situation with the Buffalo Police Department. The patients and employees at the hospital are safe. Normal hospital operations are going to be shortly resumed. The suspect in this shooting is currently not in custody at this time. Again, I want to thank all of the law enforcement agencies that have worked with the Buffalo Police Department. We are here with Major Chris Cummings from the New York State Police. I want to thank the New York State Police as well. I also want to thank the media for helping us get information out in this very difficult situation. Now I'm going to turn things over to Buffalo Police Commissioner Dan Dorenda, who will give you more updates on the investigation.
Good afternoon. I can't give you a lot of details at this point. This morning, as you know, we had a homicide take place. We have a 33-year-old female deceased inside one of the buildings at ECMC. The whole complex was put in immediate lockdown. At this point, as the mayor said, only one building is still under lockdown conditions. We have SWAT teams from Buffalo, Cheektowaga, Amherst, New York State Police, Erie County Sheriff's Department, and town of Tonawanda right now still conducting the searches of the one building. Again, not a lot of information at this point. I want to stress this was not a random act, but other than that, I really can't comment further on the investigation.
Why was the building let off of lockdown if the suspect hasn't been caught yet?
We believe if the suspect is still on scene, he would be confined to one area.
Can you tell us why the police have surrounded a medical office in West Seneca?
I cannot comment on that right now.
Dan, did you say the person was shot inside the building?
Inside, correct.
Not a hallway, inside the building?
Inside the building.
Was the victim an employee of the hospital?
Again, I believe so, yes.
Do you know how heavily armed this possible suspect is?
Again, I have no comment on that. Again, this is not a random act, and that's all I can really say about the investigation. It is evolving at this point, and we do not want to release information. At a point in time, if we can release suspect information, we will, but at this point, we are not.
What can you tell about the relationship with the victim?
Excuse me?
The suspect's relationship with the victim?
Again, I have no comment on
the circumstances of the shooting. Can you describe a little more about what happened?
We have one female, 33-year-old deceased. She was shot several times, and that's about all I can say.
There was a report about a witness being taken away in one of the patrol cars. Can you speak on that?
We have several witnesses that have been transported down to the homicide unit, but no further details on the investigation.
Was the suspect an employee here?
Again, I have no comment on that.
Verify the age of the victim?
33 years old.
What time did this take place?
Early this morning, a little after 7:30 this morning.
Did anyone actually witness the actual shooting?
I have no comment on that.
Are any other hospitals being put into lockdown?
Not from the Buffalo Police.
What about the school that's in lockdown right now?
Again, I'm hearing about a school possibly being in lockdown, and it has something to do with the victim's child, but it's nothing the Buffalo Police put in.
Still using air warning?
Residents be concerned about
residents should not be concerned. This was, again, not a random act, and we are investigating. We'll have more details later.
Why the need to bring in so many different agencies in terms of SWAT, state police?
It's a big building, and we have a SWAT team of 18 officers in
Buffalo?
Yes. So we needed more manpower to conduct proper building searches, and our partners responded immediately.
Can you talk about that search? How did it evolve?
Again, initially it was the whole campus, and it got pinpointed down to one building. It's still under lockdown at this point. The rest of the complex has been reopened.
Anything about the suspect? Can you share anything?
Have you been in contact with the suspect?
At this point, I have no suspect information to put out, and that's all I can say at this point.
Have the folks going from room to room, Commissioner, in that D.K. Miller building?
They do a very thorough search of every room, every area of the building. Correct.
Describe what the SWAT team is doing right now.
They're still conducting the search of the one building.
You said that you believe the suspect is on site still?
We don't know. Again, they're conducting searches. I won't talk about suspect information at this point. We will have further updates later on. Thank you very much.
As we conclude, let me just, for anyone that wants any information about the operation of ECMC or patients or employees, they can call 898-5500. Again, the number for ECMC for information is 898-5500. Thank you all very much.
Staff return to work?
They've been allowed back into the building, haven't they?
The hospital is about to resume normal operations. Anyone that is expected to report at this time can report to work.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
All right, as you just heard, that was the Mayor of Buffalo, Byron Brown, and Buffalo Police Commissioner Daniel Dorenda talking. Obviously, the commissioner couldn't give us much on this search because it's an active search, and if anyone's watching, they might get information that we could possibly leak and make it more difficult to capture a suspect right now. We will reiterate once again, a woman was shot and killed here earlier this morning. There is no word yet on the relationship between the shooter and the victim. Victoria, we're going to have much more on this story throughout the day.
All right, thank you very much, Joe. Let's just reiterate what the mayor and the commissioner just said. Let's talk about the commissioner. He just confirmed the victim is a 33-year-old female. She was shot several times. She died on scene on the ground floor of the David K. Miller building. He did say that there is only one building that remains on lockdown, and that is the David K. Miller building where the shooting took place. Now, they believe if the suspect is on site, that the commissioner said, if so, they have narrowed it down to one remaining building. We are assuming he meant the David K. Miller building because of the rest of the campus has been reopened to the public. Now, the mayor said this was, as well as the commissioner, this was not a random shooting, though neither would confirm the relationship between the victim and the person of interest, the suspect, which the mayor did call him a suspect, Dr. Timothy Jordan Jr. He is 49 years old, of Lakeview. He is described, if we can show a picture of him, a bald black male, about 6'2", 250 pounds. He is a trauma surgeon, and he is with the University of Buffalo Surgeons Group. There are office co-workers who remain locked down within the David K. Miller building. We have been in contact with through email with one of the co-workers who was in that building, giving us updates as to the announcements from ECMC, as well as where the shootings took place, and of course, their safety. As the mayor and the commissioner just said, actually, I believe the commissioner just said that in terms of schools remaining in lockdown, he said, quote, there is a possible lockdown of one school involving the victim's child, but he would not confirm that, and he would not name the school. At this point, let's go back to Joe with an update. Joe.
Mayor did mention that, the commissioner did mention about the possible lockdown of a school. We did know earlier that two schools were on lockdown, PS 89 and PS 84. 84 is just on the other side of the Miller building that the shooting took place in. We're going to bring Ed Dranch in right now. You've been here all morning with me and everyone else from the News 4 team. What have you learned about this situation?
Really the same thing that everyone else has at this point. We were all at the press conference just now. We heard the mayor say that he's not speaking specifically about what exactly the relationship is between anyone involved in this case. We're hearing a bunch of different stories now at this point from the commissioner, from the mayor. Again, unsure of who this person actually is or what exactly the relationship is to the shooter or the victim. Again, the hospital open, though, which again is the most important part here. So anyone who does need any medical attention can, of course, come to ECMC, other hospitals in the area. In terms of a suspect, they are looking for a person of interest, and we had been talking about that person all morning long. I did confirm who they were looking for a little while ago. I just can't think of the person's name off the top of my head.
Timothy Jordan.
Thank you.
Yes. You also did, though. You also got pretty close to the murder victim's the victim's brother. We have video of him, obviously beside himself for obvious reasons.
He was very shaken up. I mean, this is something that is unthinkable inside of a hospital to have a shooting. And the mayor, or I'm sorry, Commissioner Durenda, did clarify that the shooting was inside the hospital. It was not outside in a passageway as originally reported. So to have a gunman on the loose inside of a hospital, I mean, it's something that you would only really see on a television show. But to think about it, having it here at ECMC, where there are thousands of patients and thousands of more people who are working inside, again, something that's just unthinkable.
Absolutely. And also unthinkable is a word that's being described by many people, even though we didn't hear it from the mayor or the police commissioner. Many people that knew this doctor tell us that he was a gentle man. He was also good with patients of all ages. His waiting room was always full. So they are just shocked today. We have that word coming from somebody we spoke with as well. You'll hear more about that later. But the man that many people called gentle today is now a person of interest in a manhunt here, and it was not a random act, according to police. Victoria?
All right, thank you very much, Joe. And we will, of course, continue to follow this story, actually, in the next few minutes and throughout the day. We're going to have another live report coming up in just a few minutes. In the meantime, if you have to go or you're at work, you can find the latest on the shooting at ECMC on our website, WIVB.com. Our live coverage will continue tonight, of course, on News 4 at 5 and 6 as well. We hope you stay with us. We'll be right back. Welcome back. We are continuing to follow breaking news. There was a shooting this morning at ECMC. One woman was shot dead in the head at 8 o'clock this morning. There is a person of interest, a suspect that police are now looking for. He is told to us by police, and the mayor is Dr. Timothy Jordan Jr. He is 49 of Lakeview, and he is a trauma surgeon. He works with the University of Buffalo Surgeons Group. We want to let you know that ECMC is no longer on lockdown. It got on lockdown. It has been for the past few hours. Just within the past 20 minutes, it has been reopened, except for one of the buildings where the shooting took place at the David K. Miller building. We are told that if you have any questions, 898-5500, 898-5500, that's the number to call for any information on patients. Workers, you are told to report if you are on schedule for this afternoon. For now, the latest now, we have new information on a new SWAT search with our News 4's Luke Moretti. He is via the phone in Lakeview. What's going on, Luke?
Hey, Victoria, we're at a location in Lakeview, just off of Route 5. It's a road that comes off of Route 5 and kind of winds down and circles around close to the lake here. We have reason to believe that there's a location here that is connected to the ECMC shooting. So we came over here, and then as we pulled into the entrance of this particular location, this road that kind of winds down along the lake, we were met there by a police officer, perhaps a SWAT member, who was fully dressed and was carrying what appeared to be an automatic weapon, telling us basically that we had to turn back. Now, as I speak to you from this location, I'm not able to see the house that apparently authorities are converging on here in Lakeview, but there is a chopper flying overhead right now. I believe the chopper to be Air 1 from the Erie County Sheriff's Department. So at this point, acting on information that we had received that perhaps there's a location out here in Lakeview that may be connected to this shooting that happened at ECMC earlier. We came to the location. We were met there by, looks to be a SWAT officer, fully in uniform and armed, basically turning us away, and a couple of other members of the media that had converged on this particular location. So at this point, we're not at a vantage point where we can see anything or any activity other than the SWAT guy who is parked at the entrance and turning traffic back. But again, as we said, there is a chopper flying overhead right now at this location. So obviously we'll keep you posted on the latest developments that are coming out of Lakeview. Vic?
Hey, Luke. Luke, there you are. Can you tell us now, we know that Dr. Timothy Jordan, he is listed as of Lakeview. Is this his residence or near his residence?
Yeah, it could be. It's very possible. We have gotten indications, yes, that the doctor may have a residence or a domicile out here in Lakeview. We actually did a search of real estate data and saw that actually there are a couple of addresses that come back to the doctor out in this area. We're at one of the locations, again, as we said, but they have us pushed back off of the street that sort of winds around. There's only one way in and one way out from this location. And then once you go in, as I'm looking at a map, it kind of loops around, and the houses appear to be, you know, near the water and so forth. But unfortunately, we can't really see anything from the location where police have us backed off here. Again, as I said, the only thing that we can see from here right now is a police chopper hovering above the trees, and we can't see anything beyond the trees at this point. Vic?
Hey, you had mentioned one of the officers, I believe a SWAT team member that greeted you. Was that the photo we had just seen? Did you?
Yeah, I emailed a photograph back. Are you able to see that?
Yes, we see it right now.
Okay.
Yep.
And so, when we pulled up, we were met by this fellow, who obviously is fully dressed and appears to be carrying an automatic weapon, who said basically, you can't go inside, you're going to have to turn back and go back. And I would say, well, probably, I don't know, maybe a couple of 100 feet from him right now on this the entranceway to this road.
Do you see any other law enforcement coming in or out other than the helicopter circling?
No, so far we have seen just, you know, normal civilian vehicles coming in, and I'm assuming, you know, these could be residents who live on this particular street. They're being stopped. In fact, a pickup truck has now pulled up to where that officer is located. The officer is talking to him right now, and some of the people were allowed to go in. I'm assuming those are residents who maybe have homes there. But it looks in this case that the pickup truck is now doing a U-turn, turning around, and leaving the area. Vic?
So are they actually letting residents who can prove themselves go into the neighborhood?
Possibly. It depends on, I think, where they live, only because the way this road is situated, it kind of goes in a loop, if you will. And the residents in question here would be, you know, to the left. You would go left as you come in to go to one side of this, one side of the road. Obviously, there's houses on the other side. So, but at this point, the the last few cars that had come down here and met with this SWAT officer, they've been turned around. They've had to back up and come back out the other way. As a matter of fact, the guy in the pickup is stopping now. I'd like to go over and talk to him to see if he's got any information.
All right, I'll let you go, and we'll check back in with you in just a few minutes. Thank you very much, Luke, who is on a live developing situation right now in Lakeview, where SWAT team members, as you just saw the photo, are kind of cordoning off a section of a neighborhood in Lakeview. We also have Erie County's Air 1 helicopter that is circling over this residential neighborhood. We do know that the prime suspect right now, Dr. Timothy Jordan Jr., 49, is of Lakeview. We cannot confirm whether his home is there. Let's now go out to my colleagues, Joe Arena and Lou Raguse. Hey, Joe.
Hey, Vic, you know, unlike the scene that Luke Moretti is at right now in Lakeview, that seems as a very active SWAT search going on. Not much happening here. Grider has been opened. Most of the hospital has been opened. In fact, a lot of the employees are back now doing their job, saving lives and treating people. But I do want to talk to Lou Raguse right now, who has some information on the victim.
Yeah, we were all there at the press conference about 15 minutes ago where they shared some information. We don't have the name yet of the victim. We're not able to report it anyway, but we can report that it's a 33-year-old woman who was shot several times by someone who knew her, which means it was not a random act.
Right. As the mayor and the police commissioner were saying.
Exactly. And when we asked about the school lockdown, the police commissioner mentioned that there was a school situation where the woman's child was. So that revealed to us that she is a mother of a young child, which, of course, makes this sad situation even sadder.
Absolutely, and even worse. And we also saw the brother of the victim as well, distraught beside himself for obvious reasons this morning. Thank you, Lou, with that. And once again, the man that police are looking for, Timothy Jordan, Dr. Timothy Jordan Jr., 49 years old, 6'2", 250 pounds. As Luke Moretti just reported, there is an active SWAT team search of some sort going on in Lakeview, maybe at his house. We don't know that for sure. We're going to have more information. Luke was actually just about to gather more information and speak to somebody in a truck, I believe, at the scene. Victoria, back to you.
All right, thank you very much, Joe and Lou. And of course, as you just said, Luke Moretti is at Lakeview. We're a developing situation ongoing right now. The SWAT teams have converged on a residential area in Lakeview where the prime suspect is from, Dr. Timothy Jordan. He is believed to have a home there. We're going to check in with Luke in just a minute, but right now we're going to take a break. You can also always get constant updates on the situation on WIVB.com. If you have to head out, just get our app as well, and you can get it as you go. Live team coverage continues also on News 4 at 5 and 6, as well as when we return from break. All right, just a quick recap of what happened this morning. Our breaking news: there was a shooting this morning, a deadly shooting of a 33-year-old female at the ECMC Medical Campus. It was within the David Kelly Medical Building. The suspect now being sought after by authorities, Dr. Timothy Jordan Jr., 49, of Lakeview. He is a trauma surgeon who has been linked with David Miller Building. He has been linked with ECMC for more than 10 years now. He is with the University at Buffalo Surgeons Group. David Miller Building remains in lockdown. The only part of the facility, everything else is reopening. Workers are asked to report, as well as treatment is going to resume at any point if it hasn't already. We'll, of course, bring you the latest throughout the day on News 4 at 5 and 6 and WIVB.com. We're going to switch gears very quickly. If you're heading outside, that we have Amelia Siegel with the weather outside.
It's a cool day. Temperatures during the afternoon will only be near 70 degrees. Cloudiness continuing to diminish. For tomorrow, sunny, warmer, a high of 77. We keep the sunshine around through the weekend with high pressure. Temperatures moderate Victoria into the low 80s.
All right, thank you very much, Amelia. Once again, the deadly shooting at ECMC this morning. We want to thank you all for joining us and staying with us. We will update you on any kind of information, any kind of arrest as well. That's coming up on WIVB.com. If it happens throughout the afternoon, we will, of course, have the latest for you on the developing situation in Lakeview with News 4's Luke Moretti, where they have had SWAT teams go to a home in a residential area, and the Air 1, Erie County's Air 1 helicopter is also circling the skies above. So please stay with us right here on News 4 and WIVB.com.